Hello, participants. I'm Suzanne Alexander on the faculty team for the Wilmette Institute Relationships, Marriage, and Family Department. And today with me is Fiona McDonald, who's also on the faculty team for the Wilmette Institute and in the same department. Hi, Fiona.
Hi there, Suzanne.
We wanted to share with you some of our thoughts about consent in relationship to marriage. The Baha'i teachings include the concept of the couple consenting to marry each other. And then after the couple has consented, the parents then have the responsibility of giving consent or not giving consent to the marriage. So when we think about the couple consenting to marrying each other, what comes up for me is something very important, and that is that it be the total free will of the couple, that there not be pressure or manipulation between the two of them, that there is not interference from parents or anyone else in the decision-making process. Have you seen anything related to that, Fiona, that strikes you as something important to share?
Yes, I think that's a really important perspective that you're talking about, because this law that Baha'u'llah has brought is for the world. And the world views marriage quite often in a different way. Different cultures, different backgrounds, would arrange marriages, and others where young people just get married with no real kind of thought about family unity. And so this law really is to be able to assist all people just to see the balance that's required there, because family unity is so important. Mm-hmm. This is where when two people get married, they're not just getting married, but they're bringing together, in many ways, two families, particularly the backgrounds of those families of where they've come. So this law really helps to balance all aspects of marriage, which creates that unity. Mm-hmm. And I have seen some young people struggle. There are various young people who struggle because this notion of how the Baha'i see marriage. But in the end, it's very often seen as a great benefit.
Mm-hmm. I think you and I have talked about one of the key things that's demonstrated through this law and through how everyone carries it out is the aspect of respect. That it yes. shows respect between the man and the woman. It shows respect for the parents. It shows respect for the institutions that are responsible for making sure that all of the details are handled and everything is legal and in order. And when that respect is there, then it makes it possible, I think, for this unity to show up and really to be manifested. I know one couple that they got so close, both sets of parents and the couple got so close in the process of discussing the possibility of them marrying, that after the marriage, they all ended up so close together that they went on a vacation together. And
how nice.
Yeah. And I think it really helps them when children come along and there's family activities and events. They've built a relationship and they have some opportunity to then have harmony between them and everybody to know each other better.
And perhaps conversely to that, I've seen where young people perhaps get married and the parents, one or other, not particularly happy about it, mm-hmm. and that creates such a lot of problems within the family and can create actually conflict to the degree in which that unity of the family is very difficult. And so if the parents are not particularly supportive of that situation, that can be quite a test for a couple.
Indeed. What are some of the other challenges that the two of us have seen then in all of our experience? We've got a lot as parents, we've got experience as faculty members, working on institutions, serving on institutions, and so on. We've seen lots of different experiences. What are some of them that you've seen, Fiona, that provide some lessons learned, I think, for other people?
I think that one of the things with the breakdown of marriages these days, there's an awful lot of separation that's gone on with couples and often between children and their parents. And so one of the challenges, of course, is that with this law, it requires the consent of all living parents. And so what can happen is that a parent might have disappeared out of a child's life. And there can be various reasons for that. It may not necessarily be the the responsibility of the parent who did disappear. There can be various reasons that they're not there. And so when this law, it requires a child to actually find and perhaps talk to the parents, it can actually overcome a lot of estrangement that they had perhaps in their imagination that was there between the child and the parent. That they realize that actually what they thought was the reason for the estrangement was not necessarily there. And therefore they start to sort of begin to get to know this parent that they haven't known and build that relationship with them, which is really so important for this child when they become a parent themselves, to be able to see the relationship that is a loving relationship between them and their child. It helps actually to create a much greater sense of unity.
I've seen reunions happen too, and I think one of the things that you and I both like to encourage people who are thinking about marriage to do is to make sure that they are building a good relationship with their parents before it ever comes to the topic of asking for consent to marry. That if they work on that relationship and they talk with each other and have agreements with each other about what's important related to marriage, that can really be of benefit in the long run.
Absolutely, and I think that's such an important point because I mean parents cannot interfere, as we know, in the children, tell them what they can and can't and who they can and can't marry. However, what they can do is to help them as they go along, to just awareness raising and ask questions. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? To actually build awareness, but also the relationship. So and so when it comes to the actual consent issue being asked for, there is no kind of surprises. Ideally, no surprises. And that's of course the aim that we look for.
I think one of the other things that I have seen as a pitfall is if couples withhold information and withhold the truth from their parents or from an institution, thinking that it's just their own private business, or they don't want to share that there's some sort of problem happening because then maybe the marriage won't happen. And then I've seen people who have outright lied to their parents or to the institution and then gone forward into marriage, and the marriage failed very quickly. It sets up a relationship and a marriage on a very, very shaky foundation. The Baha'i teachings talk about marriage being a fortress for well-being, and that is no way to set up well-being in a relationship and in a marriage.
Absolutely. When parents approach me, as they often do, because of the work that I've been doing in the past, they say, what should I look for in terms of consent? How should I approach it? And one of the things I suggest is that they look to see whether this relationship is bringing the best out in this couple, particularly their own child, because that's the one they're obviously the most concerned on, but any relationship will impact on both of them. And so really them becoming very familiar with each other, but also bringing up the best in each other is really what I suggest they look for.
Absolutely. And the Baha'i teachings include that the couple is to know each other's character thoroughly. So if they have done that process before they ever approach their parents, hopefully they know each other well, they know each other's character well, and the parents will then see positive interactions between the couple. We hope this has been helpful for everyone. If you've got questions, please make sure that you contact an institution, a Baha'i institution, and ask whatever questions that you have and seek whatever assistance that you need. Thank you for sharing this time with us.
Thank you.